Hi, third graders. Welcome to your second writing lesson for this week for your opinion essays. There we go. I got my slideshow started. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about writing your reasons into paragraphs. So remember that a paragraph is like a chunk of text that is several sentences long, so at least 3 sentences long. And it's all about one idea when we're talking about essays. So if you remember your animal reports, each of your paragraphs in your animal reports, we called a chapter. So you had like one chapter about how your animal behaves, one chapter about what your animal eats. Those chapters were technically paragraphs. They were just one chunk of text about the same idea. So what we're going to do today is take the 2 reasons that you have for wanting to meet the woman that you'd want to meet, Wilma Rudolph or Sonia Sotomayor. We're going to turn those reasons into paragraphs that are a few sentences long. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so first I want you to take a minute to gather the things that you'll need. You'll need your opinion statement, which is the one sentence that you wrote yesterday that talks about who you'd rather meet and your 2 quick reasons why. I'd like you to have the biography for the woman that you'd like to meet handy, or biographies, I should say. So if you would rather meet Wilma Rudolph, make sure you have those 2 biographies just handy, like whether the web page is open or you have them printed out next to you so you can get to them easily. You need to have your notes about whichever woman you'd like to meet, and you need to have a piece of paper and something to write with. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to get those things, and then restart it when you're ready. Okay, now I want to remind you of the question that we're answering for this essay. The question was, if you could meet and talk with Wilma Rudolph or Sonia Sotomayor, who would you choose to meet and why? That's what we're answering in our essay. And then I'd like you to just remind yourself of your opinion statement. So that's the sentence you wrote yesterday about who you'd rather meet and your 2 quick reasons why. So I wrote, I would want to meet Sonia Sotomayor because she is brave and because she is determined. And next, what I'm going to show you how to do is take each of these reasons and turn them into a whole entire paragraph. 1 paragraph for the first one, 1 paragraph for the second one. We're going to do that by adding supporting details and examples. So here's how we do it. Okay. I'm going to erase it. I'm going to go to a different view for my PowerPoint so that I can kind of type along with my teaching so you can see examples of what I'm doing. Okay, so first we're going to write one of the reasons into the paragraph. So you're going to go to your opinion statement and look at your first reason. That's the first paragraph that we're going to write today. So mine is Sonia Sotomayor because she's brave. And we're just going to start by writing a topic sentence. Something like, one reason I'd like to meet blah, 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 is because blah, 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 blah. It's going to come right from your opinion statement. It's easy peasy. So I'm going to write, and watch me write mine, and then pause the video to write your own. One reason I'd like to meet Sonia Sotomayor is because she is brave. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video here and write your topic sentence for your first reason, and then restart it when you're ready. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is be like kind of opinion essay detectives. So we're going to go back through our notes and the biographies if we need to, and find some examples and some details that support our reason, that really prove why our reason should make us want to meet that person. We're going to use transition words like, for example, to add on, in addition, furthermore. This is important because to help our paragraphs make sense and be easy to understand for our reader. So watch me do it, and then you go ahead and pause the video and take the time to do yours. So I wrote, one reason I'd like to meet Sonia Sotomayor is because she's brave. Now I'm going to go to the notes that I wrote about her. I'm going to look through my notes and try to find an example of Sonia Sotomayor being brave. And I feel like I have one in my very first note. My very first note says that she had diabetes as a kid and she had to give herself a shot every day. I feel like that could be really scary for a kid, and it shows how, even from a child, she was brave. She did not let herself get held back by fear. So I'm going to go back to my paragraph. I'm going to add that example on using a transition word. I'm just going to use this very first set of transition words. So one reason I'd like to meet Sonia Sotomayor is because she's brave. For example, she had to give herself a shot every day when she was a kid because she had diabetes. And then you don't have to do this, but I want to add like my own little voice to it. So I'm just going to add a little comment after that, something like, that would be scary. Okay. Now I don't want to stop there. I want to have at least two supporting details or examples for this idea about, or this reason about Sonia Sotomayor being brave. So I'm going to go back to my notes and see if I have any more that would work. She decided she wanted to be a judge as a kid. She did really well in school. She got a scholarship to Princeton. She became the first Latina Supreme Court justice and the third female Supreme Court justice. These two don't really show that she's brave. This last one kind of shows that she's brave. When you're the first at doing something, you've got to have a little bit of courage because there's nobody before you who's done that thing before for you to kind of follow in their footsteps. You have to be the first one. You've got to be brave about it. So I'm going to use that as my next example. Let me go back to my PowerPoint, move my head over, and I'm going to write, I don't really think to add on would work for my next transition word. I'm going to write in addition. In addition, Sonia Sotomayor was the first Latina Supreme Court justice and the third female Supreme Court justice. I'm going to add a little comment about that too, just to show why I think that makes her brave. I'm going to say, I think this makes her brave because when you are one of the first people who does something, you have to be brave about it. Okay. So I'm just going to reread my paragraph now and make sure that it makes sense and that it has at least two supporting details or examples. One reason I'd like to meet Sonia Sotomayor is because she's brave. For example, she had to give herself a shot every day when she was a kid because she had diabetes. That would be scary. In addition, Sonia Sotomayor was the first Latina Supreme Court justice and the third female Supreme Court justice. I think this makes her brave because when you are one of the first people who does something, you have to be brave about it. Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't want to brag, but I really like that paragraph because it uses a lot of transition words and it's all about her being brave. There's nothing about something different. Like every example that I have in here helps support my reason that Sonia Sotomayor is brave. Okay. So this would be a good time to pause the video and go ahead and write your first paragraph. Start with that topic sentence you probably already have because you paused the video on the last slide, and then go ahead back through your notes, back through the biography if you need to, and find some examples that support your reason and add them into your paragraph using transition words and phrases. After that, you might want to stop this work for today. You might want to turn the video back on tomorrow to work on your second paragraph. Or you might decide that you're ready to power through and you're going to do your second paragraph now too. Either way, pause it now so you can write that first paragraph, and I'll see you when you pick it back up. Okay, so welcome back. Now we're going to write our second paragraph. We're going to do this the same exact way we wrote our first paragraph. It's just going to be about a different reason. So the first thing I'm going to do is write a topic sentence, but instead of writing the first reason I'd like to meet Sonia Sotomayor, I'm going to write the second reason I'd like to meet her. So I'm going to write the second reason I'd like Sonia Sotomayor is because she is, I think I wrote determined, right? Head's in the way. Because she is determined. Yeah. Okay. Go back to that slide. Okay. Second reason I like to meet Sonia Sotomayor is because she is determined. Okay. So go ahead and pause the video and write your second topic sentence and then restart it when you're ready. Okay, welcome back again. So I've got the topic sentence for my second paragraph. Now, just like with the first one, I need to find some supporting details and some examples of how she is determined. So I'm going to go to my notes. She did really well in school. She got a scholarship to Princeton. She decided as a kid that she wanted to be a judge. I'm going to just check my other notes too and see if there's anything that talks about her being determined. Her parents came from Puerto Rico to New York and didn't speak very much English. Father passed away when she was 9. She felt alone when she went to college. Oh, that could be a good one. Also, I'm thinking the fact that she decided she wanted to be a judge when she was a kid, I feel like that shows that she's determined because she never gave up on her desire to be a judge. She knew she wanted to do it as a kid and she just kept working until she did it. So I'm going to use that as my first example. Second reason I'd like to meet Sonia Sotomayor is because she's determined. For example, she knew she wanted to be a judge since she was a kid. And she never gave up that dream. Okay, so that's my first example. Let me go back to my notes again and try to find my second example. Well, she did really well in school. That shows that she's determined. She felt alone when she went to college. I feel like that could be a good one for me, but I want to remember more about it. So here's where having the biographies handy is going to be helpful because I'm going to actually go to the biographies now and see if I can find out more about that idea that she felt really alone when she was in college. So I can add that to my second paragraph. Let's see. Sonia got a full scholarship to Princeton University. She was thrilled, but there were hardly any other Latinos there, and most people came from families with lots of money. Nothing like what she knew back in the Bronx. She felt like a visitor landing in an alien country. At first, she felt too intimidated to ask questions during class. That kind of means like she felt too afraid. She didn't feel good enough to ask questions during class. But Sonia believed in herself and knew she deserved to be there. Over time, she became a student leader and activist and helped convince Princeton to hire more Latino professors and offer courses about Latino American history. At graduation, she was at the top of her class yet again. Oh, I'm so glad I went back to the biography because now I know so much more for that second reason. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint slide. I'm going to choose my transition word. I'm going to practice saying it before I write it because that really helps me. So I think I'll write to add on, when she went to college, she felt very alone and she was one of the only Latino people there. And it says like she didn't have as much money as most of the other kids that went there, but she didn't give up. She was determined. And by the end, she was one of the top kids in her class. I think it even said she was the top kid in her class. I'm going to go back and make sure. She was at the top of her class yet again. Yeah. Okay. So to add on, when Sonia Sotomayor started college, she felt very alone because she was one of the only Latino students and most of the other students had more money than her, but she didn't give up. She was determined and she graduated at the top of her class. Okay. All right, let's reread the whole thing again. Here we go. Second reason I'd like to meet Sonia Sotomayor is because she is determined. For example, she knew she wanted to be a judge since she was a kid and she never gave up that dream. To add on, when Sonia Sotomayor started college, she felt very alone because she was one of the only Latina students and most of the other students had more money than her. But she didn't give up. She was determined and she graduated at the top of her class. Okay, I feel good about that. All of the examples are about her being determined. I use transition words. I think it makes sense. So go ahead and write your second paragraph. Maybe you're going to pause the video for now and write the second paragraph tomorrow. Maybe you're just going to push through and get it all written today. Please make sure that you're using your notes and use the biographies if you need to. Please make sure each paragraph has at least 2 supporting examples or supporting details. The last thing I wanted to show you, if you are handwriting this or writing it on a computer, your paragraphs need to show that you're writing different paragraphs. I'm going to show you quickly how to do that. So when I start my first paragraph, I'm going to indent. That means I'm going to move in a little bit on the page and start my writing here, right all the way to the end of the page, and then go all the way back to that red line when I start my second line. I'm going to write that whole first paragraph. When I start my second paragraph, I'm going to go to the end of my writing, go down to the next line and move in a little bit. That's called indenting to start my second paragraph. So let me put the pencil down for a second so I can write. Another reason I would, and then I'm just going to scribble to show you what I mean. Okay. So, so you see how I moved in a little bit on that next line down to show this is a new paragraph. This is a second paragraph now. Wrote all the way to the end of the page. Then I went all the way back over to the red line after this first line. That's how you show that this is a different paragraph, by going down to the next line and indenting. But then when you get to the next line, you go all the way back over to the red line again. Okay, and you do that by pressing enter if you're typing on a computer, and then the tab button to indent. But if you're handwriting it, you just physically move your pencil to the right place. Okay, nice work. I can't wait to see what you write. This is really high level 3rd grade writing. It's what makes you ready to be in 4th grade next year. So I know that it may be frustrating. It may not be your favorite kind of writing. It may feel really hard, but you're doing such a great job and you're preparing yourself for 4th grade, and it's really awesome. And I'm so glad to be here with you for it. So send me those paragraphs when you're done. Email me if you have any questions, and I'll see you later.